Reading a book from first person is a lot easier than if a book has been written, I find, in third person. First person makes it personal. I'll give you an example. John went to the shop to get some milk and bread. Now that's written in third person. First person is I went to the shop to get some milk and bread. You can see the difference. The emphasis changes. So therefore, it's written in first person. A lot of the Bible, if not all of it, was written in first person. As the prophet Elijah, as the prophet Elisha, all that sort of scenario would take place. And they would write, Paul would write from first person position. I've got a book at the moment that I started to read, but I'll be honest, it's a struggle. It's about revival, but it was written in third person. Therefore, the individual isn't actually in a revival. He's just bringing bullet points of his observation. Is third person wrong? No. It's just first person is an individual not only just writing on revival, but who is experiencing it. So he's right in the middle of it. Sometimes the tenure of our lives can find itself going through difficult patches. I mean, you think back in retrospect, you can have patches of 2 years. A lot of times, a 2-year tenure passage in your life may be the most rewarding long term. However, for you, it was the most difficult. I've been through a tenure that lasted between 7 to 8 years. The fruit of that tenure today is encapsulated within a book that I have written, first person, called New Sound Revolution. That period would be done in the capital of this nation, New Zealand, the capital city, which is Ngāti Pōneke in Māori, which is Wellington. I believe in Māori mythology is the best way of explaining why did God have me design this technology called New Sound Revolution in Wellington. Why couldn't the technology been designed and learnt in any other part of the country? Dunedin. Why couldn't I just gone to Dunedin and learnt the technology? Now I believe that in Māori mythology that talks about that Wellington's the head of the fish. Well, let me put it this way. Wellington equals epicenter. There was a vibration, which you learn about this in my book, and that I believe that's emitted from that area, not just because it's the capital, as some would believe, but there was a reason for me being positioned in that city for a period, 7-year period. God help me, it seemed like eternity when I look back in retrospect. But here I am in another city, Auckland, the largest city of this nation. But in that tenure, I would find I would come face to face with my own insecurities. I would have to learn what it was to trust God, but I would understand God in a new way. It's very powerful. The actual place where my ministry was based is called Seaview Road. It would be because of that tenure of 7 years in which God would reconfigure me, retrain me. Not only that, he would have me active in a technology based on glory bandwidth. Woo! I mean, come on. Sounds amazing. At Seaview, I'd get to see a new view of God. New Sound Revolution has been the fruit of that 7-year tenure. The beauty about my book is it's written in first person. I'm now looking to launch it. I've waited. I pretty much had finished the book 2 or 3 years ago, yet I've waited till the right timing. Well, now's the time. Now's the time. In the book, you'll discover that everything is based on what is called a vibration law. Everything. Now, we know this in physics. The beauty about it is when God spoke light be, he emitted a vibration. That became the catalyst and the conduit authority upon which he made the heavens and the earth. And if you, the viewer, is listening to me today and you want to get my book, I don't blame you, I'd get it too. And in the book, you'll discover that it was a vibration of life. Because me speaking to you today, I'm emitting frequencies. A frequency has been emitted. And a frequency is based on what is called a vibration law. When God in creation looked to establish, he used the vibration of his voice. But it's not only that. Coupled with that, we find in Scripture the Spirit of God was moving upon the deep. I go into all of these areas. It would take incubation to bring about procreation. That 7-year tenure, though the most difficult in my life and ministry, would go down as being the most revolutionary. Hence why the book's called New Sound Revolution. You'll hear prophets go on Google, look up sound. God is bringing a new sound. Well, what is that sound? Well, most that I've read about, they've said, we know there's a new sound, but we don't know what it is. Well, in my book, you're going to learn what that sound is. There are chapters that deal with what is called vibration warfare. Amazing. And gene warfare. I go into things in the area of how a sound, vibration of God's voice, can cure a lot of the ills that we have today. There is a sound that can heal cancer. There is a sound that can repair the past. And I mean the memories of the past. That database of your sub-realms that needs to be renewed. And by the way, just while I'm on that score, I'll throw this in, no extra cost. The city of Auckland, it's only this morning, the Spirit of God said to me, Auckland City will be renewed. That's a prophecy. And I understand what he means by that because I understand the methodology of renewal. I understand the methodology of revival. So here I am. It's not like I have the funds to release my book, but I'm going to release it by faith. A friend of mine gave me the number of a printer so that I can contact them and see. And he told me he got 5,000 copies of his book done for $12,000. Well, my first seed that I've received, I think it was about $120 for the book. So we've got a long way to go. But you know the beauty about it. I'm doing the last proofread. This time next week, it's ready to go to market. If you want to assist me, because I don't know how many thousands of dollars it's going to cost, but if my friend's book cost $12,000 to get 5,000 copies done, I will say this, I'm not going to do it in paperback. I'm actually going to do it in hard copy. This book deserves it. I say that not because I'm the writer, because the information, it's revolutionary. God had me in a 7-year tenure understand the authority of frequency and how to attract him. I'll say this, and you'll learn this in the book. God is a frequency. God is a vibration law. He emits a vibration of glory. Whew, Jesus is Lord. I could talk to you all day about the book, but you'll buy it. So, I've been advised, because I'm broke, I've been advised, well, Rawiri, get prepaid orders. And I thought, well, okay, I'll get prepaid orders, but I'm going to have to get a lot of prepaid orders to be able to get the book printed. But you know the beauty about it. It's within that crucible that oftentimes the best resin comes out. The book was not written with a lot of fanfare. Nothing of the sort. When Elijah the prophet sent his servant up to a high position to look out, to discover if there was any clouds, any activity, his servant took to the 7th time of going up. I mean, he must have been pretty fit. And then he saw a cloud, but it was only the size of a hand. It was inconspicuous, it was small, micro. Yet, the prophet said, tell Ahab, get in his chariot, get going quick. Rain is coming in abundance, but it was only the size of a hand. When our technology is being designed, it's no different to the cloud the size of a hand. Because in that inconspicuous little micro level, you get the revelation of how to blacken the clouds with glory for your city, your nation, for generations. But it's in a small cloud. So you, the reader of my book, you'll be no different to the servant that's going up, looking for a cloud, discovering how can this stuff work? How can I implement it within my church? We need to understand the vibration laws that go with his glory. Kia kaha. God bless.